If you've ever driven the winding roads around Chilhowie Lake in Tallassee, Tennessee, you may have seen it. A weathered old house sitting just beyond the shoulder of the highway, overgrown and seemingly forgotten. For years, locals have told stories about that house. Stories of families who moved in and moved out just as quickly. Stories of kitchen cabinets opening by themselves, drawers sliding open in the middle of the night, and silverware launching across empty rooms. And one story of a family who left everything behind. Furniture, clothes, photographs, all of it. Because whatever was inside that house, they believed it wanted them gone. Tonight, we're heading to a lonely stretch of road beside the Little Tennessee River to explore one of my local legends. Welcome back to Haunted Hollers and Eerie Encounters. I'm your host, Stormy Skies. Tonight's story is a little different than the famous local legends I've explored in the past. Unlike some of my previous episodes, there are no newspaper articles or validated sources confirming what happened. No official reports, no historical markers. What survives is something else. Stories. Stories told by locals. Stories passed from neighbor to neighbor. Stories I first heard as a child riding down a mountain highway on the way to spend a summer day at the lake. And whether they're true or simply Appalachian folklore, people in this community are still telling them. Before we talk about the house, we need to talk about the surrounding land. Today, the area is known for its breathtaking mountain scenery. Motorcyclists travel from all over the country to ride the Tail of the Dragon. Boaters spend their summers on the water. Tourists pass through and never think twice about what existed before the lake. But older residents remember, because the water wasn't always there. Before dams reshaped the landscape, before reservoirs filled the valleys, some of this area was farmland. Families lived here, worked here, raised children here. Some homes were moved, some were abandoned and disappeared beneath the water forever. When communities are forced to leave the places they've called home for generations, you can't help but wonder, does anything stay behind? When I was a little girl, my family would drive past the house on our way to Chilhowie Lake. Every single time, I'd look for it, because my mother had told me the story. According to local legend, something terrible happened there. A murder. Exactly who was involved or what really happened depends, but the end is always the same. After the tragedy, nothing about the house was ever normal again. For years, the house sat, seemingly empty. Then one day, someone moved in. I remember being surprised. After hearing all those stories, it seemed impossible that anyone would actually want to live there. 2 weekends later, they were gone. Moving truck loaded, house empty again. Maybe there was a perfectly normal explanation, but for locals, it became one more chapter in the legend. My mom told me she'd spoken with someone who knew one of the families that had lived there, and according to them, what happened inside that home was terrifying. Cabinet doors wouldn't stay closed. Every cabinet in the kitchen would fly open. You'd shut them, walk away, come back, and every one of them would be open again. Drawers would open by themselves. Silverware would launch onto the floor. Knives were thrown without warning. And eventually, the family couldn't take it anymore. The story goes that when they left everything. Furniture, personal belongings, even sentimental things. They left in the middle of the night and never looked back. I have considered another possible explanation for the paranormal activity. It's possible that the haunting didn't start with the house itself. I believe it could have started with the land that saw the water rise, the farms, the homes, the families, the lives interrupted when the valley changed forever. And while there's no evidence to support such a claim, it raises an eerie question. If people spent their entire lives in a place, if they loved it, worked it, and were eventually buried nearby, what happens when the place is taken and disappears? Could some part of them remain? And if it did, would they be happy to find strangers living where their world once stood? In truth, I don't know what happened in that house. Maybe every story has a perfectly reasonable explanation. Maybe the families left for reasons nobody remembers. Maybe the story of the cabinets and drawers were simply exaggerated over time. That's the nature of folklore. Stories grow, details change. Legends take on lives of their own. But every community has a place like this. A place where whispers survive longer than facts. And in this little corner of East Tennessee, that place is a lonely old house beside the water. Do you know of a local legend? A tale of a nearby haunted house? Or maybe you yourself have seen something you still can't explain. Give me a holler. Send your story to MyHollerStory@gmail.com. And your encounter might be featured in a future episode of Eerie Encounters, First-Hand Frights. And remember, your story doesn't have to come from Appalachia. If you've experienced something strange, unexplained, paranormal, or just plain unsettling, I'd love to hear your story. And if you're enjoying the show, make sure you're following so you don't miss which haunted holler we visit next. New episodes drop every Saturday at 5 p.m. on Spotify and wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, you can find my website in the description. Your follows, likes, and shares help more than you know. The mountains of Appalachia have always been a place of mystery. Long before the roads and towns, these ridges held stories of strange happenings, forgotten places, and whispered warnings. And sometimes, the most enduring legends aren't found in history books. They're found in stories passed down by the people who call these mountains home. This has been Haunted Hollers and Eerie Encounters. Thank you for listening and for stepping with me into the shadows of Appalachia. Until next time, if you find yourself traveling a lonely road beside dark water, and you spot an old abandoned house watching from just off the road, just keep driving and stay out of the hollers after dark.